Welcome to the new normal. I'm your host, Lisa Davis, aka Litecoin Lisa, and today is Woo Woo Wednesday, so anything goes. We've got a little bit of news, but we're going to put a woo spin on it. So my buddy, the Public Awakening, is joining us, and Satoshi Sean is here. He made it all the way from yesterday. So we're time traveling, got all kinds of things going on. Give us a like and make sure you're subscribed to the channel. If you're not, welcome, and make sure you hit that notification bell so you get all these great shows and stay up on everything that's going on, everything that I find in the news, even when they try to take it away and hide it from us. So got some information for you guys. Be right back after this. Welcome, TPA and Sean. Good to have you both here.
Howdy, friends.
Hi.
Hi. So, Sean, we had a little mishap yesterday. I know you had a friend stop by and visit you, and I'm so glad you got to have time with them. And it actually, I had a moment of personal growth. I carried a show for a whole hour by myself. Well, thankfully, we have a great community in the chat, so they were asking me questions, and
I thought there were people on there because I tried to watch it, and it was, I don't know, I kept messing up my Wi-Fi or my internet last night every time I tried to watch it. But it looked like you had other people come on.
Nope, just me.
Okay, cool.
It's just me talking to myself. Well, actually, talking to everybody in the chat. So
one of your last videos, Sean, was all choppy as heck. It was the beginning half was really choppy.
Really?
Yeah, and then later on it was better.
Oh, that reminded me of something else Nana sent me. There's some stuff going on in Austin. You're near there, Sean. Mom sent me a video or an email. I'm not familiar with the news source, so this is not verified, but it's Woo Woo Wednesday, so it doesn't have to be. But they were talking about Afghani troop kind of people coming in illegally through the border with dirty bombs, possibly, and making vests and stuff and doing some kind of tests or threats in the Austin area.
I don't think they would do anything to Austin. That's like the stronghold.
It's a libtard hub.
It's like little California or something. Like you got Chinatown and all the big cities. Austin is, California town.
Is there? So it's called Cobalt Magnet. Or wait, is that what's right? Cobalt Magnet is a code name for dirty bomb drills. So maybe it's just drills. It's the first thing I've heard of it, but
yeah, well, there's a lot of military bases in the area. I don't know about Marines, but I know there's tons of Air Force and Army. So if they were having Austin would be a good place. San Antonio's a little bit too spread out, or it's not so city-ish. Austin's kind of has city-ish parts. I mean, Houston, that's just and Dallas, those are
huge cities, yeah.
But Austin's a small city.
Yeah.
San Antonio's more like a big town.
More like Oklahoma City. I've been seeing all these. I'm documentary obsessed. So if you know a good documentary, let me know. Mention it in the comments because I love watching documentaries. And there's
the past couple weeks.
You did? Yeah, you have to let me know because I've been watching all these documentaries, and there's more and more of these that are mentioning how all these tests have gone out in Oklahoma City. Like they did another test about some kind of sickness that came out, and they did a test in Oklahoma City for it. Like there's all these tests that they do in the Oklahoma City area over the years. These have been like, some of them were in the 50s and 60s. These are like, older documentaries. And I was like, do people know about this? Like, how many tests have been run? And then I thought, well, is this just in Oklahoma City, or am I just seeing these because I live here? Does this happen in lots of cities? And we just aren't told about it. It was just made me have lots of questions. All the questions came up in my mind.
Is it Oklahoma where we bombed our own people?
Yes.
It is Oklahoma?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the children in the top of the building in the YMCA. Mm-hmm.
No. I'm not talking about that bomb. I'm talking about where the Air Force bombed people with planes.
I don't know about that one.
I'm not familiar with what you're talking about.
So.
No, that makes sense. But really?
Yeah,
when was this?
It was like we had planes, so it was, they were propeller planes, I think. But yeah, it was one of the first times. It's like the only time where the government, admitted to bombing its own people. But yeah.
Are you talking about back the like Tulsa riot stuff?
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, it was. I think it was Tulsa, where there was like a community where most of those people lived, and like they went and bombed the houses, and yeah, it was.
I don't know. I'm not familiar with that, but of course they don't talk about that in the history books anymore. Go computer lady. Ask the girl. Well, Miss Bossy Pants, if she knows. Are you asking her? Sean's computer thinks she knows everything.
Has the U.S. government ever?
Here's something I found on the web.
Oh my God! What?
According to fandom.com.
Computer, stop! No. Has the U.S. government ever? And then she was going to just start talking. She would have not stopped. Computer, has the U.S. government ever dropped bombs from a plane on the United States?
Sorry, I don't have an answer for that.
Yes, you do.
I'm not allowed to tell you that.
Computer, how old is the Antichrist?
Antichrist is between 12 years and 5 months and 13 years and 4 months old.
That is creepy as hell.
I'd say.
Creepy as hell. Computer, what continent does the Antichrist live at?
I don't have an answer for that.
But you know how old they are. You lying bitch.
But she has to go,
Yeah. I got to think of a good question, and I'll stump her. But let me try to look it up, manually. You guys should know this. Everyone knows this, right?
Well, apparently the three of us don't.
I've never heard that. Well, the two of us don't.
Here, CMAS says they bombed a block in Philly.
Oh, that's right. That was another one. Now that was one. Yeah, that was messed up. When they bombed, that was another time. That was recent. That was like right before I was born, or while during my life. Yeah, they bombed those houses in Philly with planes.
What else? Nancy says used in military as test subject, bikini, or what does it say? Tall? I don't know. I mean, there's also nuclear stuff, which we're going to talk about here in a sec. But maybe using nuclear for positive stuff is what we're going to talk about. They flew those, there's all the nuclear vets that they were doing tests out in the desert over, but they weren't necessarily bombing neighborhoods. In the what was that? The 60s.
Man, the
Might have
60s were
been.
screwed up, huh?
Yeah.
Mhm. Yes, for sure.
Trying to find
So-
stuff. I couldn't even find anything on it.
So where should we start?
I think it was the Tulsa riots, actually, but
I'm looking.
That's if you were talking about Oklahoma, that would be my guess, just because that was a huge atrocity that has been like left out of history books. It was a big deal here in Oklahoma. Even recently, they were trying to really bring attention to it. And
So I just found one on history.com, actually. Oh, I'm sorry, my phone's blowing up. What role did airplanes play in the Tulsa Race Massacre? And on
yeah,
history.com,
I'm pretty sure it was it.
it says in the Tulsa Riot Commission report, researchers concluded that some form of an aerial attack on the Greenwood district did take place. What's less clear whether bullets were fired or incendiaries were dropped. I mean, I'm looking at a picture here. It's leveled.
Yeah, it's level, dude. It's not whether
It's
those are
leveled.
bullets.
That's not fire. Those are brick buildings with brick and metal chimneys that are, some of them are still partially standing.
No, yeah, they bombed the crap out of those people. With
35 city blocks.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, that was a huge
that
deal.
was the Tulsa race.
More than 1,200
Right.
homes.
Yeah.
Holy shnikes.
See, if that's not on blockchain, that can be changed over the years. Like it was
And
easy
it
to
was.
find.
It was
years ago.
erased. It was erased.
It was
though.
easy to find years ago. You just keep
I've never
changing
heard
it.
of it.
And now to say that they don't know if it was bullets or incendiary devices, come on.
Well, at least they're admitting it's one or the other.
That's not bullets. You could see that's not bullets. Those are brick houses.
Those are not, yeah, those are
and I
what's
forgot,
left of brick houses.
Chris was, Maz brought that up. We bombed those houses in Philly. That was a huge deal because that's recent.
You know what else is super weird about that is
I don't know if you guys can see that. It's flat.
Yeah, I can see it.
That's a war zone. That's not.
I'm not sure how far that is, but there is a place in Tulsa that's called, if you Google it on a map, hold on, let me see if I can pull it up on a map. It's called the Center of the World. And you can go stand in it, or Center of the Universe, I'm sorry. And if you stand in it, no one can hear you. Hold on. It's so bizarre. I need to go there sometime and like do a video.
That would be cool.
And no one can hear you. They can be standing like literally like a little bit away from you and they cannot hear you talking or anything. People did all these videos and stuff. Center of the Universe. It's kind of in the arts district, so I'm not sure how far away it is. And it's an anomaly, and it's an acoustic phenomenon, and you stand in the middle and you make a noise and no one can hear you. And it's just like a little piece on the ground. So Oklahoma is like the physical center of the United States, but then also they're saying it may be the center of the universe. There's all this stuff happening right now, which kind of leads into my next story that I want to talk about as well. I'll go to Tulsa. Maybe I can go this week.
I wanted that was 1985 when the Philly bombing, when the city dropped the bombs
in Philadelphia.
The Black Liberation Movement on their headquarters.
Let me see if I can find a video of this so you guys can see.
Man, this stuff is gone. You're right. I've never heard of either of these. I consider myself somewhat well read on history.
You're in New Jersey. You never.
I know. We're talking 2 hours away.
The city bombing Philly? Oh, yeah, it was a big deal, man.
Never heard that. Now I feel dumb. Thank you.
You're not dumb.
You're not
dumb. Thank you.
They're hiding it from you on purpose.
Yeah, at least you know how many towers fell in New York.
Yeah, that I do know.
Yeah, there's 2, right? Two.
That I do know. There was funny story about that. Within a couple hours of when that happened, my father turned to me and he says, "You watch. In 20 years, we're going to start to learn the truth."
Really?
And he didn't know at the time. We didn't know at the time. We were just scared.
Can you hear me?
But
Oh, that's strange.
we knew, and here we are. 20 years later.
So we are in downtown Tulsa. Hi, guys. And we are going to see the center of the universe.
Yep. The weird Oklahoma book.
Yep. All right, so they say up here is the center of the universe.
Right here?
Up there in the middle.
Right here?
Yep.
I'm in the center of the universe!
I can hear
Okay,
it.
try it out, Aubrey.
Okay.
Okay,
Hello!
just talk normally.
Hi. Strange.
Do you hear the echo?
Yeah, I do.
Echo.
Echo. Echo. I hear it.
Okay.
You want to do it too, Kayla?
The mom's
Okay,
supposed
try
to
it
get
again.
away
Okay.
from her though,
Oh, wow,
and then you
that's
can't
strange.
hear her.
Why is there like an echo right here?
Because that's the center of the universe.
What? That's weird. Oh, I thought it was
No, but get away from her.
like a
Sounds like she's talking in a small room. That's for sure.
So
It just
girl-
sounded a little weird.
Yeah.
Okay. Hello. 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 Didn't do it. Only does it right
So is it a myth or is it true?
It's true.
Hi, fun and crazy kids fans. Did you hear it?
Yes. That was weird. And I'm there.
Okay, so now I walked over here and I'm going to do it again. Hi, fun and crazy kids fans. See, there's no echo right here, and I'm like this far away from the center. Weird.
Hello.
Kids annoy me a little bit.
I was gonna say I picked the wrong video.
Yeah, I think that's the wrong one. I've
Well,
seen
still,
better
it's
ones
weird
than
that,
that.
there was that vibrating echo with no walls.
Yeah. So it's something about that. And then I've seen other ones where you can't hear the person and they're standing like right there. So maybe I picked the wrong video, but I'll try to find a better one, or I'll go there myself maybe and not listen to her be really loud and annoying. But okay, so that led into I got two notifications. I got one notification. There's been information they've been working on the Oklahoma budget, and they put this big thing in the budget about trying to woo a company here, and it's supposed to be the largest factory in the world. And then that piece got pushed forward in the budget, and if it doesn't work, then it goes to our state treasury, which I'm like, winning either way. So then I got notifications through Newsbreak and through the Oklahoman, I think, and then a news channel 8 through Chicago, several different ones. Then I go to those websites and I click on it and it says, 404 not found. Then I was reading through another article and I sent you guys a screenshot, and it says, so you're reading the one article about one thing, and then it says another article you might want to read, and it says Governor Stitt gets the bid for Panasonic in Oklahoma. I think I can pull up the screenshots to share. Wait, I'll have to stop the screen first. So I think they released the info. I think we did get the bid for Panasonic, but I think they released the story too soon and made them pull it back. So that is happening all at the same time that the USS Oklahoma, which is a ship.
Is it the Oklahoma or the Oklahoma City?
The Oklahoma.
Okay.
The USS Oklahoma is being decommissioned, and it is one of the largest. It's a ship.
Or a submarine.
Let me find the article now, but I believe it's a ship.
Yeah, I saw something about a ship.
I believe it's a ship. And it's being decommissioned and being sailed or sent back to Oklahoma. Well, if it's nuclear and being sent back to Oklahoma at the same time. And he had talked about having it at a port, and it will be in Pryor, this, which that's Port of Catoosa.
How could you sail it to Oklahoma?
Through the, what's it called? What river is that? Through the lakes and all that, and through the channels.
I don't think
Oklahoma is has more shoreline than any state, believe it or not.
who does?
Oklahoma has more shoreline than any state.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't. Do you know how big Texas is? You could put most of Europe in here, and we have that whole,
But you don't have more shoreline.
Yeah, half the state is the coast.
But you don't have more shoreline. Think about area versus circumference.
We have lakes.
Homeschool you, Sean.
We have lakes just like you have lakes,
but
we also have the ocean.
Right.
We don't have the
We
ocean.
have the ocean on one edge. We have lots and lots of lakes
You have
and
no
rivers.
ocean. How much ocean do you have?
We don't.
Exactly.
That's not the
But
point.
we have lakes just like you have lakes. But
Ask
you
the
could put like
computer.
10 Oklahomas in Texas.
Ask the computer whose state has the most
Computer,
shoreline.
what state has the most shoreline?
Here's something I found on the
It's
web.
going to be Florida.
According to reference.com, in the United States, the state of Alaska has the longest coastline.
That's
Fucking
coast.
Alaska.
That's
I'm sorry, I
coastline.
forgot about Alaska.
That's coastline, not shoreline.
Hawaii's got to beat all of them, though, right?
No,
I mean,
Coastline. You guys are
It'd
not
be
using the
Alaska.
right word.
Alaska's huge.
You're
Yeah.
saying coastline, not shoreline. I'm saying shoreline.
I'm looking.
What are you from down the shore? Is that
She
what she's talking about?
doesn't know down
I'm
the shore.
sorry, she's from down the shore. She's not from Texas here. All right, I got it. You guys are always flipping things around on me. Computer,
Down the
what
shore,
state
up
has
the
the
shore.
most shoreline?
Oh, Sean, you're right though. It says it's a
According
submarine.
to reference.com,
Yeah.
in the United States, the state of Alaska has the longest coastline, which extends
Yep.
for 6,000.
Once again, you guys are saying coastline, not coastline, shoreline.
Freshwater shoreline is Michigan,
Oh,
3,288
with the Great
miles.
Lakes. Yeah, that kind of makes sense.
That's wrong too.
This is what it said.
There's no way you could
Google
get-
said it. I read it on the
Yeah,
interwebs. It's
it's-
got to be
it's-
true.
Google's a liar.
Oklahoma does not have the most shoreline, and there is no way that you could get a boat
No, mine's yelling.
from anywhere to Oklahoma through the water.
I'm going to figure this out right now.
You could
I'm just
move a
telling you.
submarine because it is not as big as any U.S. fighting vessel.
I'm just telling you what's going to happen. I mean, you can wait till I'm right, and then you can.
I knew the submarine. My friend was, I think, a
Oh,
chief
right.
on it, on that submarine.
Okay, so then here we go. So it's a submarine,
Mhm.
U.S. Oklahoma, and you're right, city, to be decommissioned after 34 years of service. So
Voyage to Bremerton. I don't know where Bremerton is.
it doesn't matter. That's just where they're reporting.
Somewhere on the shoreline. It doesn't
That
matter.
doesn't matter because it's just where they're reporting. They're telling a story.
Okay.
The point is that it's a nuclear powered submarine and that it's
Which are
coming
crazy.
back Friday, May 20th at the Puget Sound Naval Shipyard in Bremerton, Washington. There you go.
You know,
Now,
it's
there's your Bremerton.
a nuclear submarine
Hold on a second.
Never
When is
has
that?
to come up for never ever has to come up.
That's
Ever.
true.
You don't have to come up for food. You don't have to come up for air. You don't have to come up for water. There's nothing you would ever have to come up for if you're on a nuclear submarine, technically.
I'm reading an article here from November 23rd of 2021 that says the USS Oklahoma City submarine makes the final voyage to Bremerton where it will be scrapped. And this is November 23rd of 2021. Now I'm just totally confused.
It's going to be scrapped. It'll probably be sent in pieces and not go through the magic waterways that don't exist to Oklahoma.
Sean, I'm going to fight you.
I love you
Come
so
on
much.
there.
No, I love you so much.
I wouldn't want to fight Sean. Sean, look at Sean. You just see the top of his head in the video. I'm like all the way up top, like trying to look bigger. Sean's
I'm
like,
very
no,
very
I'm
oddly
small.
large
I'm small.
human being. I really am.
What are you like 7'3", Shaq?
No, I'm 6'2", 6'1 3/4.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm
We're
like
very wide.
5'10" and a half.
Like my shoulders are like literally. My shoulders are almost a yard apart. They're like 2 3/4 feet or something.
That's like
very
Westwood.
hard.
Holy cow!
It's very hard growing up, Like, can never wear any suit jackets or anything. Any coat, they're always super restrictive.
Well, I had to get all my pants hemmed growing up. It
All
was
your
really
pants
hard on me as well.
Hemmed?
Yes. It's a difficult life for me as well.
I did too. I had to get them.
I'm one of those lucky people who clothes have always just fit me really, really well. Like
You
everything I put on is like
shit was easy for you growing up, man.
It was, hey man, this is Jersey life. It was like I'll be like, what do I want? Medium or large? Let's go with a large today. Whack, and it just fits.
I spoke with a fake voice for 2 years of my life, even to my parents.
Because your voice was so naturally deep?
No, because it wasn't. Because I was 5'11" and 195 pounds, and I had a beard when I was 12, and I talked like this. So everyone thought I was weird. So I had to talk. Hey, how you doing? I'm Sean. I'm 12. Yeah, I look this way and I sound this way. Everyone's like, oh, your voice got so much bass. Thanks, baby. My parents are like, hey, how you doing, Mom?
Puberty caught up early, but forgot your
But I
voice.
talked with a regular voice, and I still have kind of a high voice. You can imagine before I'm 12 years old, and I smoked. So I smoke. I'm 6 foot tall, and I drink.
He was trying to get the voice a little deeper.
And
You wanted that raspy
I
cigar voice.
Till now, like a year ago, I talked to someone on Facebook, and I was in junior high in the 7th grade. Okay. And then my friends were all in high school. Some of them were seniors. And we all drunk. We did drugs and bad stuff. And
Wow.
I told them I'm 12. I'm 12 and they're high. They thought I was stupid. Not until a year ago now did my friend wait, you're really 12? I was hanging out with a 12-year-old. I'm like, yeah, I told you. They're like, we all thought you had like a learning disability. And we didn't want to we just went along with it. Because you're in 7th grade. And you were 6 foot tall with a beard. We thought you were older than us. And I'm like, I told everyone I was 12, man. Yeah.
What's wrong with you?
That's funny.
Yes, it's hilarious. My life.
Yeah. So life was difficult for you. I can only imagine.
I got arrested for a suspicion of rape once when I was 12. I was waiting for Boy Scouts.
They confused him with a 30-year-old.
Yeah. They're like, hey, let me see your ID. I said, I don't have one. I'm 12. I don't get one. I don't have one yet. No, I was 11. I'm like, I'm 11. I don't get one until I'm 12. It's like, don't get smart with me, mister. I'm like, what? What are you doing on this playground? I'm waiting for Boy Scouts. That's it. Come with us.
Oh my
God.
God.
I got arrested. And they called my stepdad. And then I was grounded. What did I do? I was in trouble.
You were in trouble?
I got in trouble with my stepfather because he got called at work to the police, to the MP station, because I got arrested. They're like, well, you couldn't fit that description. And we're sorry about that, kid. And I'm like, you guys are mean. Like, they're like, why is this adult man crying? Who we think may have raped someone?
You just had to pull out a pocket full of Pokemon.
Get grounded. You guys are mean.
That is not even.
Wow.
I don't know how to respond to that.
You're right, buddy. I did have an easy life compared to you, an easy childhood.
It was rough, man. It was rough.
That's very bizarre. Okay. I'm trying to figure out how to show you guys this. Okay, I found it. Uncle Clif posted this challenge. Okay, first of all, did we talk about everything with the submarines? Panasonic, nuclear sub coming to Oklahoma, and Panasonic getting...
What was the point of it all?
The point is that if a nuclear sub is coming to Oklahoma, could the nuclear sub be then powering the battery factory, the world's largest battery factory?
No.
We're not.
because first off, the sub is not going to go there through the water. It's going to be taken in pieces and then dismantled there. Secondly, the nuclear reactor will be the first thing shut down and removed. Also, military nuclear technology cannot be used to power a foreign company's battery factory. It's Panasonic. It's, I believe, Korean.
It says there'll be an empty reactor compartment, which we will float on a Puget Sound up the Columbia River and to the Department of Energy's Hanford site.
That makes more sense. Yes.
To the Department of Energy.
Which is where, yeah, I guess would have to go to die.
The Hanford site? I'm not sure where that is. Hanford?
It's by Armford.
Oh,
close to Elbowford.
Near Fisttown?
And everybody's like, okay, that sounds fine.
Close to Fingerton.
Oh my gosh. Everybody just believes whatever they'll tell you. I'm just sorry, not buying it.
That's interesting though.
It's interesting.
It's interesting. I was going to say something about it, but I just forgot. I'm laughing too much.
Nuclear power is something that's very interesting, though. It's super awesome.
Oh, that's what I was going to say. I remember. I'll write it down.
Super awesome, super clean, super wonderful. It has the same. It's the same thing as hemp and marijuana. It could have killed the coal industry and the energy industry before we had solar. But even Musk says nuclear power is like the way to go. It's like the best thing there is, unless you have like a unstable place where you live, like if you have
like 3 Mile Island or Russia or all these other places that melted down.
Earthquakes, they're the only place. And Russia, Chernobyl was, man, they kind of did it themselves. And 3 Mile Island, that's a whole big thing. But it's one of the cleanest, safest forms of energy that there is. And it's cheap. It's ridiculously cheap. So,
yeah, I've had people talk to me about mining with nuclear energy in the future, like mining Bitcoin with nuclear energy in the future, and those being possibilities and that being like the way forward. And so when I was hearing all this, I'm like, okay, I don't know how to put all those pieces together, but that something smells there.
I think that I really like the what Venezuela was talking about, like thermal, energy, but it's so centralized because you have to have, a volcano. It's very, it's not like, oh, we could do that here in Texas or we could do that here in Oklahoma. You got to have a volcano. So there's only really could do it in certain places, but it seems like a really cool way to do things. And if
there are multiple renewable resources, you just find what, each country has renewable resources. It doesn't have to be just volcanoes, it's whatever.
A widespread version of localized
thermal
energy production.
Thermal energy would be volcanic.
Right. But there are other renewable. Thermal energy is one form of renewable resource. So you go to multiple forms of renewable resource.
And there's also I don't know if you've ever seen this, but I don't know, you can look it up. There's, hydroelectric, right? But there's these they're like platforms. If you ever go to the lake, there's like a big, what's it called? The square thing of wood where people go out, you can sit on it and jump off it. And what's that called?
A dock.
Dock?
Like a floating dock. But you know what I'm talking about? Like a floating dock?
Yeah.
That's called something. But it's like that. And when waves hit it, it like goes up and down.
Yeah.
So they have these, I forget where it is, but they're these huge like floating docks that are out, and then they're attached to the the land, and the huge waves roll in, and they just make these go up and down constantly. So as these are going up and down, they're cranking out electricity.
Like a piston.
Yeah, and it works really, really well. As far as, because if you're looking at coastline, and not Shoreline. Because
Mhm.
most hydropower, it has to be from like moving water, like, you know, a river or something like that. But, you know, most of the earth is made up of ocean. And if more, you know, countries would utilize that, it would be I think really cool. I watched something on it a long time ago, and I thought it was really, really neat. But that was back, you know, like we could give Africa all the water that it needs, easily. I think it would be like $2 billion or $4 billion. It's like a raft. It's not raft, Chef. I know what a raft is. It's the floating dock. Go out, you know,
It's a
swim out to the.
Somebody said a dive deck. Was that what?
no, it starts with a B, I think.
Bonsoir. Dive deck dock, floating platform. I think it's called the platform. But it's renewable energy. That's what I just said, Phil. Renewable energy from the tides of the ocean. Yeah, but it's using the waves, and it pumps those platforms, and that's how it generates electricity. I thought that was really, really neat.
Yeah, that's very. I like that idea.
You ever seen that NATO submarine base that was up for sale for like $10 million?
No.
$1 million, something like that.
Mm-mm.
Well, they had.
No.
I think they had it there. God, I wanted to buy that thing. It was so cool.
Supposedly, all those big tunnel digging machines that dug all the underground dumbs and stuff, those were nuclear powered. Somehow they like liquefy the rock or something. I've read on a bunch of different things for years. That's how they can get like 2 or 3 miles an hour or a day or something. I mean, if you think about the system of what's at least acknowledged, it's massive. Where do you put the bulk of material that you take out?
Growing up, man, I mean, just seeing what the Nazis had made, like mind blowing. You know, I was, you know, talking to my friend. You guys know, the doctor told me I was homophobic when I was a kid. Before the word was invented.
No.
But everyone's like, "Was that a real doctor?" Rice always like, "It wasn't a real doctor." I'm like, "Yeah, he was." Where was it? I'm like, it was in the basement. He's like, "Well, it's like the basement of the hospital. You know, he had to go through a bunch of tunnels, and you go to the doctor's office." And he's like, "Dude, that wasn't a doctor." I'm like, "Yeah, he had to go through all the Nazi tunnels to get to the doctor's office, and that's where he was when he gave me the enema." But
now turn your head and cough, Sean. Turn your head and cough.
It's the biggest U.S. hospital like in the world. It's a bomb holder, but there's these massive hospitals and buildings, but all underneath the ground, there's huge tunnel systems, and they're all like color coded. And there's like signs. You just follow the blue line, and you want to go to, you know, this place, or the red line, you go over there. And then, you know, like touring the bunkers, like Birch's Garden and all that kind of stuff. They're so huge. They're like cities, you know, in mountains.
Yeah. And
that was back when, you know, technology was so analog that it's ridiculous. So to think about what we could do now is, you know, mind blowing.
Yeah.
I have behind me. I bought these laser things to light candles with. I don't even buy matches or anything. And they just make an arc of plasma, and you light a candle or whatever, but you charge it with with USB. So you can take that with you with a little solar charger in your backpack, and you could never not have a lighter out in the wilderness. Very cool.
Smart. Different stuff that they're always coming up with. I watched a video the other day, like 9 ways to start fires. There's a bunch of cool different things that I never knew. And the guy, like, you got to really work at some of it. And there were some other ones that was like, I had no idea. Interesting.
Look, now see, that makes sense. Chef Jeff said, so they took the mined rock and then they crushed it and turned it into concrete to make the walls, excavator tunnels, and everything else.
But if you're taking out this much volume and then you have to add in concrete or water or whatever, I still don't get it. I don't get
Well,
it.
you grind up the rocks and stuff into powder, and then you add water to it, and the dirt, and that's how you make the walls.
I mean,
Liquefied it.
And the floors and the ceilings. Yeah, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
interesting. There would have to be a lot. There's
The
thousands of
circle-
miles of tunnels,
Yeah.
supposedly.
Well, look, that's one. Oh yeah, I watched this one documentary on the Rocket Man, and his family's like run North Korea for generations. I think 3, and there is this most elaborate tunnel system under all of North Korea that goes for like driving tunnels, like from the coastline all the way into China. It's like 40 miles or something, just one of the tunnels. And anyone that's ever went to visit there, like news or YouTubers or whatever, they come to the airport, they take them, and then they take them down to the tunnels, and they just drive them so you don't know where the hell you are. And then there's elevators, so you're underground for 2 hours driving around, and then you step into an elevator, and then you're in the palace, or you're in some major government building. So it's that's one place that has crazy tunnels, is North Korea.
And how are they digging them all so quickly? And I mean, I don't know.
And that's another way that it's hard for us to watch with satellites, because all of our satellites are looking down. So when they're going through because he could literally be a one, like you'd be in New York, and he could walk out and be like, okay, he's in New York, and then a couple hours later he would show up in LA, and if you're trying to like if you want to kill him or something, it's like it's almost impossible. You'd have to like be able to ready to strike at any moment, and as soon as you see him, you have like minutes before he could just hop in the elevator. Even like 3 minutes, he could be a mile, and that's another thing. Some of those tunnels are like thousands of feet underground, which if I watched or I saw some, it was like how deep this is, how deep the Mariana Trench is, how deep like the average septic, it like went from the average septic tank to like how deep stuff was, and it was like some of the deepest stuff, and I thought certain things were much deeper in the ground, than they are. They're like literally 80 feet or 60 feet, and I thought they were thousands or hundreds of feet down. Not a lot of stuff is that deep in the earth. And when I found out how deep some of those tunnels went, it was pretty surprising.
But then that goes against what they're teaching in school about pressure under the earth and
heat under the earth, the natural heat. Anything over 500 feet or something like that is supposed to be impossible. I was 210 feet underground in the deepest subway tunnel in Manhattan. I think is like 209 feet, Lexington Station, I believe. And from there, there's elevators that's still supposed to go way far down, much further than that, which was interesting. We used to do some of that urban, whatever they call that, urban spelunking or something like that, where you just find stuff and go down. There's known tunnels underneath Central Park that run from, we talked about this a long time ago, that run from the townhomes on the Upper East Side of Manhattan and go underneath all the way out and empty out into lakes. But they're called service tunnels. They're actually shown. They're called service tunnels. And they go all underneath Central Park like a web. There's this place called the Boathouse. Goes under the Boathouse. That's like a connection point, and then it spreads out from there. Some crazy old stories about that.
The deepest we've ever went is 6 miles in the history of man. But I just got all the numbers. It's very weird. The crust of the Earth is almost the same as from sea level to outer space. It's like 35 miles. That's weird.
It is weird.
I never knew that. But Yeah, it just hit me.
They're saying the tunnels are thousands of miles deep.
No feet. Some of the ones that they're like 1,100 to 1,200 feet.
Okay.
But like the average, it was like the average metro was like, 19 feet or something. It was like, I thought it was much deeper. And then, but like some of the rail stations in certain countries, they were very deep. I should try to look that up, man. It was really cool.
There's Anglo Gold mine in Johannesburg, South Africa, says it is 3.16 kilometers deep, or 3.84 kilometers deep, and they say that that's the deepest mine in the world.
It said the deepest we've ever went. Actually, was weird because she was talking, and then she said, "And get this." Like she actually said, "And get this, the deepest humanity's ever gone is 12 kilometers, or so it's like 6 point something miles, or 60 point something miles."
That's
62 miles. No.
I'm telling you.
Computer, what's the deepest we've ever went into the earth?
Here's something I found on the web. According to reference.com, as of 2014, the deepest distance humans have drilled into the earth is 12 kilometers at the Kola Super Deep Borehole.
12 kilometers, so 6 miles.
Yeah.
6.2 miles, maybe, but not 62.
Supposedly they go down and they link up with some of the old lava tubes or something like that, right? The ancient Romans used those to move troops or something like that at some point. I've read a while back. I don't know who wrote it. I don't know how true it is, but all I know is this: I put nothing past anything anymore. Like if it's like the most ridiculous, crazy sounding stuff in the world, I'm like, oh, sure, I'll look into that, because why not?
I just think your computer's getting an attitude lately. It seems like a little saucy.
She's like, get this.
Get this.
Get this.
Okay, so go ahead. You guys are still on the tunnel thing.
Maybe they could get the submarine to Oklahoma City with one of those tunnels, Sean.
They could. That's it. It's underground river.
It's possible, especially on Woo Woo Wednesday. It's totally possible.
What else you got?
So I loved, speaking of being a little saucy, Uncle Clif was getting a little saucy.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't want to show you my Telegram because I don't think you need to know who all I'm chatting with. So I copied and pasted what he put onto a document in Microsoft Word. So he said 10,000 in ETH prize. You can also go look on what does he call it? And if you can go to Telegram and follow Uncle Clif at, what is it called? Sci-Fi World? Is that what it is?
Yes.
Yeah. Sci-Fi World on Telegram. And you can see all of these wonderful things, as well as go to Clif High, 1F, Clif High, .substack.com, and you can see his messages. But he got pissed off yesterday, and I love it when he gets pissed off at Charlie Ward because I think he's also a hack. I don't like Charlie Ward. I think it's creepy as anything that he says. He's, out, doesn't like the pedo world and all that, but then he has his little boy open all of his videos promoting, telling everyone to go watch his Instagram and follow him, whatever. I'm like, why would you be telling people to follow your little boy on Instagram if you're so aware of what goes on in child sex trafficking and whatever? Like, I just think it's creepy and weird, but whatever. You guys make your own decisions about everyone. That is my personal place. But anyway, so he says 10,000 in ETH prize. Debate me on video for 1 hour that I will record and provide proof via code and links to the protocol of the QFS blockchain, and I will personally send you 10,000 of ETH. This offer is open to any of the recognized QFS touts. If you have any videos out there pimping the QFS fraud and have the balls to debate and prove your point via code, contact me. I know that Charlie Ward, Simon Parks have no balls. Do you? The challenge is open. Otherwise, QFS, you know what, wits are required to bow to me, cross the street when they see me coming, and shut the F up. Clif high. I love that one.
Like his thing said, old, bald, and pissed off.
Oh, he's my hero. Yeah. I love him so much. Oh, Sean sent me. I think Sean sent this.
I can't find that on his
It's on
Sci-Fi
Sci-Fi.
World.
Yeah, scroll up. It was from earlier today.
Carlsbad Caverns goes down 1,000 feet. Just let you know.
Is that what you sent in the private chat?
No, that's like all different stuff. That's how deep it is. There's like a video. It's pretty cool. Whenever I went deep into the earth, it was cool. It got cool.
Oh, it just smelled really bad when I went that one time with some friends of ours in South Dakota. It just smelled horrible, and I just was not impressed at all.
I guess it depends. I mean, if you go down, there's like sulfur and stuff in there. It's
Yeah, that's terrible. I was not
I
impressed.
used to work in the mines and salt mines. It's all fine.
And I'm claustrophobic. I was not impressed. I'm like, I'm out. It's not pretty. It smells bad. I'm out.
I always liked going down in mines. I thought it was cool.
No. Mm-mm.
It was always cool, and like you know, temperature wise, it was always very cool.
No, it was terrible.
I can't find that on Clif's thing. Oh no, I just found it. My bad. That's funny. Yep, it's there. Now you have to ask yourself too. What's this point? It looks like just scrolling through his telegram from today. What's the point? Why is he going off on?
He's just tired of hearing about it.
Well, I feel bad for those people that they don't have any balls.
What, women?
It's not all bad.
No, maybe they had like particular cancer or something.
No.
He knows the secret. He told everybody they don't have any balls. It's kind of mean.
Yep. You got to sell them.
No, he's just complaining because he's tired of these guys saying the QFS is coming to save everyone. And he's like trying to tell people to save yourself. So he's frustrated at, but I have even normie friends who have literally used the term QFS banking system. That like they're not Charlie Ward, they don't believe in Nasser Jassera, any of that. They're like normal, like in international banking, and they use the term quantum banking system.
Pimpy did a bunch of videos on that a while back, proving there is such a thing, but it's nothing like what we've been.
But they're not using they're not using the term blockchain. They're saying quantum banking, but I don't know that they know what the heck they're talking about. So there's something out there that people are throwing that term around. But so both things might exist. They may be using the term inappropriately, and Clif may be totally right that it may be not what they're claiming it to be, but I know that term is being thrown around in the international banking world because this dude is like totally legit. And I was like, because when the first time he said it, I was like, oh my gosh, are you one?
Well, if you think about it, though, if there is if there are going to be a mass usage or a mass putting out of the CBDCs, they're not going to be on a blockchain, right? So it's going to take a lot of computing power to run such a thing that can handle any transaction at any time without using a blockchain and cumulative power of everybody's computers or phones helping the system to run. So would that require some sort of a quantum system? Not like this mythical QFS, but would it require something really, really big in order to handle all transactions throughout the United States or the world all immediately?
in real time.
To have one computer system run, or will they have networks of smaller computer systems that would then all link up, but it would still all have to transfer the energy in real time? Do we have computers that can do that now, that can handle world banking all at one time? I mean, I don't know.
Here's something I found on the web. According to IncityTheMagic.net, not gonna happen.
Not gonna happen.
Yeah,
I heard it on the interwebs. I heard it.
Yeah.
Oh, she's got an attitude. Well, so Clif's
But like legit though, if there
happen.
is CBDCs, how are they going to run?
Clif's data says that
what's
they're
gonna
going to
power
come to Reggie and ask for help. That's what his IP.
Well, then that
solved.
would be a blockchain, and that would be something that would be running the CBDCs on a blockchain. But if they're not a blockchain thing, so if they use Reggie's inventions, there would still be accountability. And
Yeah, why would they use a blockchain, even if it was privatized? Because
they would use a blockchain for the computing power, I guess, to keep everything running in real time.
No, it would be centralized. They're not gonna have it distributed. So they have the computing power would be their computing power, and they would use things that are already in place. But by putting it on blockchain and making it immutable, even if it's a private blockchain, if an entity could get access to it through like warrants or something, you still can't change it. So I think I think it goes against the nature of the shady banks.
I think it's too late though.
They would stay away from blockchain.
So when Jim Willie came on my show and spoke for my Patreon, basically like the bad guys kind of got walked into this believing that something was possible, and then it's like it's built and in place, and it's too late to work any other way other than with the blockchain. And it's kind of like they're like, well, wait, you told us we'd be in control of this. Well, yeah, we told you you'd be in control of your stuff, not our stuff, kind of thing. It was kind
98% of people are dumb.
They
could literally say, oh, hey, we've made a block super chain and everything. This is what this is on now. And they're like, oh, block super chain, that's much better. They don't know. People don't know. Or they could just use XRP. I mean, XRP is already set up. That's what it's designed for. Like what William Layton is said. If they wanted to use blockchain, they would already be using XRP, or they would already be talking about XRP.
Well, that may be why the lawsuit happened. It's already in place. But even
I don't think that's going to do it. I think that they would.
That's not a technical blockchain, though, right? Isn't that just like a fast spreadsheet or something? It's not.
I think they would use something similar to that. I mean, if you look at it at Libra, it's cryptocurrency. No, it's not.
No,
it was a digital currency, but everyone's like, oh, it's crypto, and that's how it was being sold. My friends were like, okay, I guess I'm gonna use crypto, this Libra stuff. Oh. So people don't know. Whatever they're told is what they're gonna believe, and Apple. Everyone uses Apple. You have Apple, a computer. It wasn't Apple. It was Macintosh.
Mm-hmm.
People started calling it Apple. The Volkswagen Bugs, they're not Volkswagen Bugs. They were Jettas. They relaunched, and they look like old Volkswagen Bugs, and people just called them Volkswagen Bugs. I remember it was on.
It was called the Beetle, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it was the new Bug, Drew Carey show.
Oh, the new one.
When Drew Carey show had his show, he talked about buying the new Bug. It wasn't called that, but people called it that, and they changed the name. Now Apple is Apple, even though it was not Apple. It was always Macintosh. It was a Mac. It was a Macintosh Apple. And the slang took over, and it became what it's actually called. And I think that's a good blockchain point. Is going to be. They'll Libra is cryptocurrency, and it's not. But if everybody calls it that, then
it is.
It doesn't make it so, but that's what it is. That's what it's called. And you can try to yell at people and correct people, It's not actually cryptocurrency. Oh, it's not champagne. Only, actually sparkling wine that comes from the Champagne region of France is actually champagne. This is just sparkling wine.
Yeah.
It's champagne, dude. It'll
There was
say on the
actually
bottle.
a lawsuit along those lines recently about cheese. Was it cheese or champagne? It was either about cheese or champagne about and the farmers just had a huge lawsuit about that, about maybe it was an Oklahoma thing. And it was like either a specific kind of cheese or it was no, I don't think it was a champagne. I think it was this kind of cheese. And it was like there was a huge lawsuit that you could only call this one kind of cheese, this one thing, because it came from this one area. And there was like a huge lawsuit. And I was like, why is this happening in the United States?
Yeah, but who can do that? Who can say you can't?
It's to set some kind of precedence on the same kind of
when it
issue
comes
that
to
you're
that,
talking
people
about.
don't care.
Well, there's
So
bourbon,
a company
right?
won't be able to call it that, but everybody else will still call it that. And eventually,
Right.
that's just what it is. Because you can't have 20 bajillion lawsuits, and you can't go and arrest 20 bajillion people just because they.
Well, there
call
are
it
rules
else,
about that for bourbon, right? Bourbon has to have 51% corn, otherwise it's whiskey. And some people call it bourbon, but it's not actually bourbon; it's whiskey. Or the same with like Band-Aids. Everybody knows what a Band-Aid is, but they're not all called Band-Aids.
Yeah, they're not. That's a brand name. Yeah,
Crayons,
that's a good point.
Something like that.
If you ask for a Band-Aid and someone says, we don't have any here in the hospital, that's a bandage. It's a whatever. What's it called?
It's an adhesive bandage strip.
Yeah, it's bandage strip.
Yeah.
So that's a really good thing. Or in the South, it's really weird. They call everything Coke.
A Coke. It's a Coke. Yeah.
We got like 12 different kinds of Coke.
You want a Coke?
What?
Yeah. What kind of Coke do you want?
Mountain Dew Coke. I'm like, that's soda. And then
But
they make fun of you like, oh, a soda. Ooh, look at Sean. I'm her. I'm the Queen of England. My soda. I'm not, dude, it's not all Coke. That's one thing. So, yeah.
Or calling these, I don't have any on me, calling our money in this country dollars.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
It's not a dollar. That's again kind of goes back to the legal fuckery with words and meanings and double meanings and
or in the old days calling them clams, which is harkening back to seashell days. In the old back they used to call dollar bills clams because we used to use seashells. It's yeah. I only call Coke. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Or bucks or piss clams.
Piss clams.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta love the piss clams.
You grab them by the little pisser.
Okay, we talked about that before. I don't like talking about that.
It's not potty humor. It's food humor.
Yeah. Food
Damn
humor.
it, Lisa.
Gross.
Don't stifle my creativity.
Gross.
Good though.
Oh, there was a tie in here where you guys were talking about the Facebook, the Libra thing. If the Luna thing had happened if Libra had been allowed to go through with their coin, I think a lot of normies would have gone in and been like, okay, Facebook has a coin. It's convenient for me. And I think a lot more people would have been wrecked than what happened with Luna and the token there.
How?
Because I think so many more normies would have had that as their dip their toe into crypto.
Right, but how would they have been wrecked?
Because they would have had a bunch of it. They'd be spending with it. They would be shopping with it.
Right, but they're not going to get wrecked.
Nothing.
They're not. It couldn't go to nothing because it's fully centralized. The stuff that went to nothing was Luna, which wasn't centralized. That's why it's why it screwed everything up, because they could print and mint, which lowered the value of the stable coin. With Libra, it's just digital money. It's all centralized. No one can mint anything. No one can do anything. It's not the people's money. People have no control over it. It's all basically Facebook is a fiat. It's a government, and that's how it works. And it decides what it would peg its money to, whether it's gold or oil or whatever.
So you don't think the Libra token would have gone to zero like Luna did?
No, it wouldn't go to zero because I don't know. I mean, is the dollar at zero?
It's at right. So it's not
What's
zero.
it backed by? What is it? What is its value derived from?
It's the full faith in.
The fact that they say it.
Right.
But
it's
Facebook
the full faith in whatever in the United States.
Pegging it to like a basket of assets. So if gold went down to zero and oil went down to zero, technically you could say the Libra went down to zero. But then,
I mean, my dollar's at 50 cents compared to spending it against my gallon of gas last year.
Yeah, but see, that's when people have to learn what money is versus currency, and that's the thing, people don't understand that. But I think that with Libra, a lot of people were starting to look at it and starting to learn, because that's all they have to do, man. When you get people to take a look, when they see how the monetary system works, it was like Ford or whoever said if people knew how the banking system, the monetary system actually worked, there would be riots in the streets, man. And that's what we need. We need people to look and see and learn. And that's when they're like, this is totally messed up. And then understand, because when we were talking earlier about changing history, and people think that the way we're doing things is the way it's always been. But taxation, the way income tax, this is like an experiment. Paper money is like an experiment.
Yeah, you brought up a great point on this.
And people think now with how history is that it's always been this way. America was founded, it was this way. No, this is a new idea. Yeah. You can go watch an old Western and they're talking about paper money. I don't know about this newfangled paper money, and that's like your grandpa's lifetime. Yep. So
what do they say? If 3 generations of people find something if something is introduced and goes through 3 generations, it's like fact.
Yeah.
It's considered real, and that goes back to the Jews walking out of Egypt and 4 generations, and because that's enough time where the oldest person at that point would never remember what it was actually like when they stepped into the desert. So it's that process of erasing history from an entire group of people.
Nice, Mr. X.
What they've slowly done to us.
I don't know what Luna's going to do, honestly. We and Lisa were talking about that, William. It really came back to where it was. The supply is too huge, because like I was saying,
can they burn them, Sean?
That's what I was talking to Lisa about. That's what I told her. They could, but they have to get them. See, the foundation is the only one that could print up the stable coin. So no one's messed with that supply. Only they can mess with that supply. But with the Luna token, as it was free falling, more and more was being printed.
Is his audio okay? Or is it my end?
That's your end.
Okay.
It's my end?
But they're now
with my audio.
Like 7 trillion. So, and the Luna Foundation threw, millions and millions of dollars. They actually acted pretty decently while all this is going on, trying to stop it. So if they were to be able to acquire a bunch of Luna and then burn it, that would help the price. I don't see it ever shooting up. Now I bought Luna when it was 100% down, and I've made money on it, but it's super speculative,
right?
But people made a bunch of money off BitConnect. People made a lot of money off BitConnect, but it was a scam. I don't think Luna will get back to where it was, but I think I don't know if it's completely dead and gone. We'll have to see.
Is there a use case for it? Is there a reason to bring that specific dead coin back, or because it can perform a task that others cannot, or as well, or as cheaply?
Okay, I think one of the best use cases, and what I would love to see happen for so many reasons, because I would be rich as shit, but is if we had a Wall Street Bets kind of moment where people were like, you know what, screw BlackRock, screw Citadel. If the people rose up and just dumped a bunch of money into it and brought it, and honestly did bring it back. And people bought it and burnt it, and they like literally, it's like, you know, women burning their bras, people burning their draft cards. It was an act of defiance against the deep state, I guess we could say.
But wouldn't you think that more likely with something like Tether than Luna?
No, because Luna was used as an attack by those nefarious agencies.
Oh, to stiff them back. Yeah.
Yeah. If people stood up and they
That's a good point.
saw people, hey, you messed with our thing. Don't mess with our thing. You know, they messed with crypto. And if that happened, I think that would scare the crap out of them more than anything else. It's like, oh boy, they are really, really united and not stupid. You know, because they already know that most people that are in crypto are more awake than, you know, the average person. So to mess with our community should be a scary thing to do. You know, BitBoy, I've been just so proud of Ben, man. He has hit it and not shied away from it. He's like, we have blockchain. We can see what you did. You know, you can go, you know, the usual thing. Oh, Gemini said, oh, we didn't do anything, or we haven't done anything. No, we didn't do that. You know, and he's like, you can't act the same way you do when you do this kind of crap in other sectors. We can see that you did it. You're not going to be able to lie. You know, and that's one thing that I've always said, blockchain does not stop corruption, but it makes it a lot easier to see and much harder to deny.
So I have a question for you on that, though. With all of the Bitcoin and crypto stuff that's on Wall Street now, a lot of the shenanigans that they're doing is off chain, but yet it still affects the price because we don't. I remember years ago watching Bitcoin. There was no exchange that was going to tell me what it was worth. It was what you can get it for.
Right.
Today, it's listed. The price that we all see is all listed based on what an exchange says it is. So how do we kind of get those two things that are at odds to?
I think that we need to just bring the market into its purest form. Like I said, if everyone stands up, if Gemini, and I love Winklevoss and Gemini, they're like awesome to me. But if they had anything to do with it, man, they need to be shunned and crushed. And any exchange needs to fear the community more than they fear the government.
So here's someone giving me crap in the comments.
They can placate the government and do, you know, what we think is being a pussy. But if they ever act nefarious, we should crush them
and call it out,
and then never use them, never use them again.
I agree. So here's somebody giving me crap in the comments saying that Tether is a stable coin pegged to the dollar. Well, is it? Because this was a concern of mine. This was a couple of days ago on May 16th breaking. The Supreme Court has rejected Tether's petition to block the public from receiving documents detailing the composition of Tether's reserves over the past few years. So is it actually pegged to the dollar? Why are they hiding their reserves? And this was my concern after the Luna takedown. Are they getting ready to take down Tether as well? Because Janet was yelling the other day about, we need, all this oversight on stable coins because, they want their CBDC. They want their CBDC to be the stable coin because they want oversight. They want spying on your spending.
I've always been worried about Tether. I've always made the point that.
So I'm very concerned that Tether is next.
I've always been very, very concerned about Tether. And I've made the point to you and everyone that it's always been a little shady, the Tether mafia and all that, but that it's our fault. We built our economy on our central bank, which is Tether.
So this was my point and why I brought this up.
It can affect the price. But we allowed it and we did it. And if it does get taken down, it will cause it could kill it. It could kill crypto, or at least kill it for a long time. We'd start over. We'd have to start over from the beginning. It would be very, very harmful. But I don't like how things are going. I did a show with Mind Your Biz, and he was talking about how Coinbase, which don't you get your money off Coinbase. Coinbase just changed its rules, and you have to, if you log in your Coinbase, I had for years or for months, I had to re-download it, and when I logged in, I had to update and accept the new terms. The new terms say that they can freeze your assets, take your money, and use it to pay if its bills off, if it has to file bankruptcy.
Like a bank.
Just like a bank.
The
And now
same thing with the bank.
they're trying to get banking certificates, and I think Tether is trying to do it too, or with USDC is trying to do it. And everybody loves USDC much more than Tether. But if we get that,
that's called
if
bail-in.
USDC does get that, then they can operate under the same rules as banks. So if they only have to have 3% or 10% of actual money in reserve to back what they print, what's the difference? We've created this monster, that we've created this evil. So, but now it's starting to, there's this attitude that's being projected. What if Tether doesn't have $1 for every Tether? If they got 1 for every 2, or even a third, or 20, but it's still 25 a quarter. It's not bad. It's
still fractional reserve.
Now that's not what it was supposed to be.
Right.
That's not what crypto is supposed to be. It's supposed to be trustless. And if I have to trust you for 75% of my money, that's not how it's supposed to be. That's not how this is supposed to work. But that's the attitude that's being projected now. So I think we're headed towards something like that. And
I'm telling you, I don't trust any stable coin right now.
We need a stable coin that's backed by crypto.
Why do we need a stable coin?
Because we need something like DAI or something like that. Something that we know that you can put money into, and it's not going to drop 50% in a week, which just happened.
Well, remember a while back
in US dollars. We need
your husband sell cars if he'll lose 50% of the money that he takes in within a few days?
No, but we need to quit valuing things that way. We need to start valuing things in. We've got to change our thought process
and be able to hold that payment and it not lose money.
Well, they have
kind of stable currency for that.
But
they have ways around that.
The US dollar is not losing value. The US dollar is losing value.
Yeah.
You're just
not at 50% in a week, which Bitcoin did.
Well, Sean, don't they have where you can accept cryptos for payment, and stores can accept cryptos for payment now, and it immediately swaps it over at the point of sale into dollars?
Yes, we've had that for a long time.
Yeah.
So that's the only option if you want to take it out and put it in something else. But yes,
but then you're also talking about fees involved in swapping over.
Yeah.
And how much is it to send some Ethereum today? It's $100. Oh wait, no, it's $8.75. Oh wait, no, it's $1.22. Oh no, wait, it's $35. Yeah, that's how it is.
Yeah.
So until we have that, those fees are going to be more uniform, and until we have less volatility. If you're a merchant and you're not talking about, a car, if you're talking about selling a cup of coffee and making, a dime, then if you lose, 2 cents, you've lost 20% of your income.
Right.
So when it comes to really using it as money, we need something that's completely stable.
Could that be like a gold-backed? So
it could be a crypto.
We've heard about
gold-backed
cryptos or crypto-backed gold. Whenever so Reggie has a crypto-backed gold, or so could there be a gold-backed crypto?
There is gold-backed cryptos.
Would that be something that can be used as more of a stable coin, or does that still fluctuate?
There is gold-backed stable coins.
What is it? Hex something?
DAI, I think DAI is, isn't it?
I don't know about DAI, but I know there's a hexa something. Not hex. It's not hex. I'm sorry. It's what what is the one that's gold backed? It's something about Hex, but it's not Hex. It's not that Richard.
There's
crazy
one or
guy.
two that's backed by gold.
But there's
And then also that's auditable. Auditable? Yeah.
yes.
It's auditable, you know.
Mhm.
But if you
I can't
if you
remember
have a
what-
foundation that has $2 billion and
Hacks.
they print up, you know, $200 billion worth of whatever coin, and then the value of what they have goes down, if it's $2 billion of the ETH or $2 billion worth of whatever, and then they're able to burn some of that supply and it stays at $1. And if the value of it goes up and they're able to sell some of that, those assets, you know, they're able to keep it at $1. So you can have a crypto-based or asset-based stablecoin, or it'd be even better. I mean, there's actually some stablecoins that are run by like a forex basket, like 20% dollars, 20% euros, 20% yuan. So there's a lot of different ideas out there than keeping it at just the same old. But
It says here Pax Gold is
Pax,
backed by
that's it, not DIA, Pax.
Yeah, Pax. And it says the main rival is Tether Gold. I don't know if it's actually backed by gold, but
yeah, I wouldn't
one Pax is worth 1 ounce of gold. And supposedly I think that you and I know that GX, whatever, the one that Apollo made, they actually are saying that you can, and there's another one too, that you can cash it in for actual physical gold, which they're buying. They own 1 or 2 gold mines now in South Africa, and they're buying more, but they're also branching out to different kinds of mines, like lithium mines and other stuff, because they're wanting to make that asset basket of mineable things. So it's not just gold; it's like gold, silver, precious, heavy metals and special metals. So it's all a bunch of different assets. So if gold gets hit, they don't have to worry about it so much, which I think is a cool idea.
yeah, which could be used as part of this intermedium that you're talking about, swapping out of something that you want to take some profits out of, putting it in that. They're probably just not big enough yet, or
it would also stabilize that, because if it's multiple things, if each country had a basket of assets, like we were talking earlier about thermal, resources, renewable resources. And years ago, when Mame was doing my Mom in It Mondays, she had a friend in Brazil who was like brilliant, and she had a bunch of girlfriends. They all went to school together, and they stayed in touch over the years. And so they would, get back together. And she said one of them, they were talking about how they were cataloging the Amazon in Brazil. And she said she was so excited because she was talking to her, and she said they were putting it on the blockchain, the resources of the Amazon. And I was like, they're going to use that as like a basket of assets. Like, I bet that's what they're doing with that. And now here we are with all these failing currencies all over the world, because it's not just the US. The currencies are failing all over the world, but we're also finding these renewable resources, and we're watching what's happening, globally. We're watching oil is being sent all over the world. We're watching new partnerships being made as well. So it makes sense that we're kind of like reinventing ourselves and saying, what's valuable. Each nation is becoming like shaking out and saying, what resources do we have? I think we're all kind of becoming nationalists, to be honest, and looking out for ourselves and saying, well, what do we have? And then who are we going to play ball with? Who am I going to trade cards with? Or who am I going to trade bubblegum with, or whatever, and I think we can go forward with that in a healthy way, but we have to, establish, what do I have? What has value? And then, and what am I going to value it at, and maybe that is what puts a little more stability with it, like you said, instead of the volatility where we were like, where you were talking about, how do I hold on to something and not lose value because of the volatility of cryptocurrency or only trusting one asset. Well, if I have a basket of assets, well, oil might be up today, but something else, wheat is, down the next or whatever. But if I'm trusting it on that basket of assets, and that gives us a little more stability. Does that kind of make sense? Yes, no.
Yes.
Okay. I think that's where we're going in the future. So
I was going to tell you about some documentaries I watched. One was on this place called Christiana. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
Oh, it's amazing. So when there was the riots in Portland, or in Seattle, they had that little, they took over and they said this is not the United States, and they made their own little country.
Oh yeah.
For like a couple days, and there was like rapes and murders and everything. So that happened in the 70s in Copenhagen, Denmark. But it was like hippies and anarchists, and they made this city right in the middle of Copenhagen, but it's still around, and it's like amazing. It's called Christiana. It's a narco capitalist, so they have like shops and like weed is illegal. But I used to call myself an anarchist, and I think anarchy is the goal of humanity, but I don't think we can do it. So I really do consider myself a libertarian because they made laws in this place of anarchy and no laws. There's no hard drugs because it destroys everything, and people are, stealing and killing people and doing all that kind of nonsense when it comes to hard drugs. So there still is hash and weed there, but it's like this really amazing place where it's completely, and the government comes and raids the place like 2 times a day for arresting people that are selling pot and stuff on the street. But it's called Christiana, and then there's this place that Ford built. They built this huge town in the middle of the Amazon. You're talking about the Amazon, because they wanted to make they could make everything back in the 20s to make the car in the United States. It was 100%. They machined all the parts. Everything was here except for tires. They had to buy rubber from Asia, so they wanted to make rubber plantations in the Amazon.
Yeah.
So they made these huge towns, and they pumped the equivalent of like $200 or $400 million to make these towns, and they were huge towns, thousands of people. They had like a hospital, like they had like the most technologically superior hospital in like all of South America, the Amazon. There, they had the tallest structure in all of the Amazon was there. It was like their water tower. They had electricity and everything. It's like this crazy piece of America, and they bought this island, and it was as big as Jamaica. It was on the Amazon, and they didn't know how to. They sent a bunch of white dudes from Detroit down there to run it, and they didn't know how to plant trees, so they planted all these trees right next to each other, so like insects killed them all. But in China and Asia, like they had a rubber tree, and then they had like 2 feet of other vegetation, and they had another rubber tree, and then there was like 5 feet, because it was natural. So if there was like some insects that are eating this tree, they had to go through all these other trees, and some of them would stop insects.
Oh.
So they wouldn't go. But here there was nothing but rubber tree, 2 feet rubber tree, so they just tore through it. But people still live there. They're like the descendants of the workers are still there, and they're trying to like make it like more of a tourist thing because it's historical, but it was really cool.
Thank you, Renee. Port of Catoosa, farthest inland port in the U.S.
That's a good way to end the show.
Love my Okies. Come to my rescue.
My phone is blowing up. Sorry.
All right.
I got my little one is in Colombia at the moment. She was texting. She was calling me on video.
The baby's in Colombia?
The baby's in Colombia. Second time. And she's like 2.5. She's like a world traveler. Yeah.
Lord.
Sorry.
Well, speaking of traveling, I put in for my press pass to Consensus. Super excited about all the speakers there. They made you make a list of who you want to talk to. So I like went through the list. I was like, oh, Ed Snowden. I'd like to talk to him.
Yeah.
Cynthia Loomis, Charles Hoskins, Charlie Shrem. My friend Natalie Brunell will be there as a speaker. So I put her name on there.
So the first one you mentioned, he's questionable, right?
I want to talk to questionable people.
Okay.
Don't you? I have questions.
Here, I'm sending you the link to that the anarchist town. It's really cool.
Is that the Christiana?
Yeah, Christiana.
Yeah, I wrote it down. I'm watching that.
That's the one I watched. That's the one I watched. It's by Yes Theory.
Okay.
Which
if you guys have a really interesting documentary that you think we might enjoy watching, please put it in the comments. I love that stuff. And I think it's how we can all kind of
free Julian Assange. Yeah.
Yes, and free Julian Assange. God bless his heart.
That's the real deal. He's the real deal, I think.
And shame on that Twitter twat that made fun of him for having Asperger's. And yes, really? I just called someone.
Well, it's twatter. What are you supposed to call it? They're twats. Everyone on.
Yeah, I posted on Twitter today, and I went to a.
And here's the link that Sean was sharing.
To tag TPA in it, and it was not. They weren't there.
It's wah wah wah.
No, he's not there.
Maybe. Maybe soon.
Fordlandia. That's the one. It's called
what are you saying?
Fordlandia.
Fordlandia?
Yeah, Fordlandia. And I think it was the BBC I watched. I don't know.
Okay. Well, I call them jerks, not tweeps. Like, that made me so angry when I saw that.
It's nice having a break from social media forced.
Yeah.
Not really.
I wouldn't know.
I missed a lot, but
I don't know. I missed a whole week of YouTube and I missed it. But I did go back. So during that week that I was gone, I went back and uploaded videos from the missed times. If you guys missed that as well. There's a really interesting one that Johnny and I kind of went on a few rants since we weren't live. You might catch that one. It was pretty funny. And you might catch some other ones. So go check out those on my channel and please leave us a comment and share these videos. Thank you guys, Sean and TPA, for joining me today. I really appreciate your support and all your information that you share with the crew. We will be, if you guys aren't already a member of my Patreon group, we will be meeting Flo from Kanaloa is meeting me this weekend all the way from Switzerland. He will be live with my Patreon group on a Zoom call. So you'll be interactive as long as you have a MetaMask, I think, or Trust Wallet on your computer. They'll be sending you some Kana to be able to mint your own coin this weekend. So we'll be doing that kind of live interactive class for my Patreon members. So that'll definitely be something fun and a great learning experience for you guys to be a part of. And then tonight, here in about 45 minutes, we've got a live AMA call with the Crypto Confidential crew. We have attorneys and investment advisors and international bankers and lots of other really super smart people to help you answer those questions about living the crypto life and doing that in an efficient way to help you.
I sent you the link to the forward.
Oh,
I
okay.
see it.
Cool.
I see it. Yeah.
Copy. Okay, I'm going to share that in the comments too.
It's so weird. The what they did, but yeah, it's pretty cool.
Cool. Okay, those are all in the comments for everybody, and I will. Let's see. I can share that. I'll go back and share it on the description as well. So I'll adjust that. So make sure you refresh if you can't see it on the description, and that will have on the Fordlandia on there. And you can also go check out the description to find information about Sean's channel and where you can find TPA, as well as all the information for joining my Patreon group and joining Crypto Confidential. And you can jump on that AMA call tonight if you click on that link and join that too. And you can go to my website, litecoinlisa.net.
I got family night, so I got to get going.
Okay. All right. Take care. Love you guys.
Bye. Love you.
See you tomorrow. Bye.